Coming right up, another fun Varsity Sports Show.
Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show. Our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating a platform to promote young people in extracurricular activities and community outreach. If you are interested in partnering up with the Varsity Sports Show, find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or call or text us at 480-779-9437. The Varsity Sports Show, Arizona's home for youth, high school, college, and you.
Hi kids, this is DJ Soulman from the Funk Junkies. You're listening to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS with my main man Vince DeLisio right here in Arizona, home of youth, high school, college sports, and of course, you.
This program is paid for by the JV Sports LLC and its partners.
You're listening to the Varsity Sports Show, home of Arizona's youth, high school, college sports, and you. Empowering education and enabling dreams. Right here on KDUS AM 1060 in Arizona. And now, welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show. Vince DeLisio here. We are broadcasting. This is live radio, folks, and anytime there's live radio, you get some surprises. We are broadcasting today as part of our Summer Spotlight Series. We're out at Alhambra High School in Phoenix with our Summer Spotlight Series featured guest co-host today, Ms. Dana Bailey. She is the COO of Homeless Youth Connection. Dana, how are you?
Good morning. I'm great.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. So we're going to get into talking more. We've got a couple of other guests with us as well, and we'll introduce them in our next segment. So sit tight. We're going to get into talking about some other things with regard to Homeless Youth Connection in our next segment. But first, we've got a regular segment. As you know, Dana, you are new to the Varsity Sports Show, but we feature a weekly segment called the Thursday Night Football Face-Off. And it's obviously not Thursday night right now. It's Saturday morning. My name is Vince DeLisio, and in case you didn't know that. And so this fall we are going to feature a Thursday night high school football game of the week. Every week leading up to our season kickoff on August 26th, we are featuring a couple of coaches from those games. And this week is no different. We're going to feature a couple guys. Flash, hit our intro.
It's the Thursday Night Football Face-Off.
The head football coach at Cactus Shadows High School, Mr. Mike Hudnutt, and the head football coach from Campo Verde High School, Mr. Ryan Freeman. Coaches, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Ben.
How's it going? All right, there we go. So we got Freeman and we got Hudnutt. So that's going well. Guys, how are you doing both today?
We're doing great for a Saturday morning.
That's it. So you guys you're both good friends of mine. At least I like to say that you are. I don't know if you believe that, but you're both good friends of mine. I've known you both for a long time. And so I wanted to talk to you because you guys have a pretty good rivalry going. This fall, we appreciate the opportunity to feature you as one of our Thursday night high school football games of the week. It's going to be early in the season. It'll be out at Gilbert Campo Verde High School, and it's going to feature the Coyotes and the Falcons, and looking forward to it. Let's start with the home team. Coach Freeman, tell us a little bit about your offseason. How have things been going?
This off-season's been going good. It's definitely been a whole lot better for me this year. Last year as a first-year head coach in the middle of all of the COVID craziness. I've been very honest with people. I feel like a lot of last year I was just chasing my tail. This year, feel pretty good about where we're at and where we're headed.
Well, let's talk about last year. So last year, you guys were semifinalists, and you finished the season, I believe, 5-3. Tell us a little bit about Team 10, special group.
Yeah, Team 10 with a special group, probably headlined most recognizably by Caden Calloway, just an amazing running back that we were lucky enough to have for multiple seasons. Was great in the community, great for our program. And there was a lot of other seniors on that group. Jake Lichty comes to mind, the offensive lineman. Mark Liano on the defensive side of the ball. Just such a great group of kids at Team 10.
Coach Hudnutt, so last season you faced this Campo Verde team. I believe it was it the quarterfinals, I think it was the second round of the playoffs, or was it the opening round you faced these guys?
Well, it was the opening round because they cut us to 8 teams last year.
Yeah, and you finished the season 4-3. You exceeded some expectations, some odds, and actually had a strong finish on the tail end of the season. Obviously, had a tough time in that final game, but you had a pretty good quarterback. You had a pretty good supporting cast. What's the offseason been like for you?
Well, I think it's finally got back to a little bit of normalcy. I think there's still some restrictions here and there, but for the most part, it's been a normal summer, and we're excited about the opportunity to go in and hopefully get a 10-game season in this year.
Yeah, we're hoping for that as well. Coach Freeman, this season, you guys are opening that first game on September 3rd. You're playing out at Desert Edge, the Scorpions. I know you've been watching film. What are you seeing?
Well, Desert Edge is just such a talented team, top to bottom, speed at every position, size across the board, and really well coached. The Carters out there at Desert Edge, they do a great job. They get those kids excited to play football, and it's just a really good program, and I'm looking forward to that opportunity to kind of show where we're at. We've got some changes on our side, so you never know how it'll go.
Well, and you're starting off. You're facing a real tough team there. Coach Hudnutt, let's talk about your opening game. You're hosting the Jackrabbits. You talk about a storied program, one of the great historic programs in the state of Arizona. And what can you say about Mesa? How are they looking?
Well, they're going to be a tough team. I mean, our first 2 games are going to be a true test of what we have for a football team this year. And I think Mesa is going to give us a lot of challenges, and we need to come prepared and ready to go. And Coach DeGrenier will do a great job preparing his kids. I know that.
All right, guys. Now, this is the point in the segment where we talk about each other. So, first of all, let's keep it civil. I know you guys are good friends off the field, and we kid each other and whatnot. But, Coach Freeman, what can you say about what you'd expect from Coach Hudnutt's Cactus Shadows team when you guys face off on Thursday, September 9th?
I love watching Coach Hudnutt's team, Cactus Shadows. I'm from Ohio, so anytime I get to see an offense with 2 backs, a tight end, a team that wants to run the ball and then play action off of it, it's definitely exciting, and I have a lot of respect for that. Maybe I'm just a little too old school in that perspective, but really well coached, very disciplined on defense. They had some defensive linemen last year that just made our life miserable. So I'm looking forward to the opportunity with that game.
All right, Coach Hudnutt. Don't leave anything out. What do you think of Campo Verde? We need some bulletin board material.
Well, you know what? They're hard nosed, and we played them in the playoffs last year. We knew that. You don't win the games in the last couple of years like they have, and not be disciplined and tough. And they got some farm kid looking types. And when he talks about being from the Midwest, those are the kind of kids you love to have on your roster. So. I think, it'll be a disciplined game on both sides, and it'll be a hard-fought battle.
Coach Freeman, you've, top to bottom, you've got from what I've seen, and having been the PA announcer out there for a couple of years, I became very familiar with Campo Verde, and a good friend of mine used to be the football coach, and now he is your athletic director. So you're still working under Max Ragsdale. But what can you say about admin as well as your support staff, your other coaches out there?
Our admin's been great. We actually got a new principal this summer. Mr. Tyler Dumas has taken over. So we've had that change. But Mr. Dumas is great. He's been with us in the past as an assistant principal. So we're really excited to have him in that leadership position. Of course, working under Coach Ragsdale, he was the one that brought me out to Arizona in the first place and a really close friend of mine. So that's been great. Staff-wise, we have had to make a couple of changes. Our offensive coordinator decided not to coach any longer, same as our offensive line coach. So we've got a couple of changes. We've added some new members to the staff, but I'm definitely excited about the direction our staff is going. We've got a lot of young guys on our staff that are excited to be there.
Coach Hudnutt, you've developed a good core group of people that have worked with you, and I worked with a couple of those guys as well. What can you say about your staff, your administration? I know your superintendent fairly well, Dr. Cord Monroe. Seems like a good guy, but you got a new principal as well out there. Talk to us a little bit about those folks.
Yeah, I think, the expectations are high for the football program. I think anybody knows that when you come into high school, when the football team goes, the school goes, and that's kind of where their expectations lie, and we're going to try to meet those expectations. I think the support is there. I know my athletic director is fantastic, and she'll do a great job, and everything that we need in preparation leading up to all of our football games. I think our admin will do a great job. As far as our staff goes, I didn't lose anybody, which is a positive. I actually gained. I was able to move a couple guys up to varsity, so I feel like we've even made our staff stronger in the past year.
Awesome. Okay, Campo Verde High School head football coach Ryan Freeman, Cactus Shadows Falcons head football coach Mike Hudnutt. Gentlemen, thanks again for joining us. We will see you on Thursday night, September 9th, out at Campo Verde. Should make for a great game. Guys, thanks again for joining us here on the Thursday Night Football Face-Off.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Vince.
Okay, all right. So that was so we're already at the end of a first segment here, and it's a regular thing that we do, in talking to these coaches. They're great guys. They're all about the and we have fun with it. Now, when we come back from the break, we are going to be joined by Dana Bailey, the COO of Homeless Youth Connection, Don Bogart, the CEO of Homeless Youth Connection, Cyndi Tercero from the Phoenix Union High School District. It's going to be a great show. Folks, stick around. Join us after the break. We got our producer behind the board, Flash Gordon. It should make for a lot of fun, and we'll be back. And we're going to have a great rest of the show. We got a couple other surprises up our sleeves. So join us here on the Varsity Sports Show, folks. Thanks again for joining us on a Saturday morning. We will be back after the break. Go Varsity.
The Varsity Sports Show presents the Summer Spotlight Series, featuring outstanding members of our community. And now, here's Vince.
Awesome. Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show here on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona, joined by our featured guest this week as part of the Summer Spotlight Series, Homeless Youth Connection, and our co-host for the hour, Miss Dana Bailey, the COO. Dana, okay, how's it going?
Really great. I'm so excited for this year's high school football season. That was so fun listening to this.
Well, your son was a player. He played, where did he attend school again?
He played at Desert Mountain.
Desert Mountain High School, and quite a team. He played with some guys that are now in the NFL. So yeah. Kyle Allen, Mark Andrews. I mean, wow, that was that whole era a couple of years back. So that's exciting. So let's get into talking about Homeless Youth Connection, and we are joined also by Don Bogart, the CEO, and new board president, Cyndi Tercero, who is with the Phoenix Union High School District. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the partnership. First of all, what is HYC?
So HYC is a nonprofit organization, and we work with youth who are experiencing homelessness. We help remove those barriers so they can stay in school and graduate. It's so easy, Vince, for them to drop out of school when their housing and their financial environment isn't stable. 75% of the youth who are experiencing homelessness will drop out of school or have already dropped out of school.
Wow.
And so the impact on the community is so great. So we work with youth to stay in school by providing them with basic needs. Sometimes it's just hygiene products, shampoo, deodorant, toothpaste, toothbrush, those kind of things. We also provide school supplies, class fees this last year during the pandemic, access to Wi-Fi, laptops when they were needed, and we help them with medical appointments if they're having dental issues or vision issues and other medical issues. We help get them to their doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
But of the kids that are in our program, about 30% of them are unaccompanied youth. So those also need assistance with housing, so we help with that too. And we work hand in hand and side by side with them to help them get their class credits to graduate and make a plan for their future so they can really have a stable and sustainable future. And then after they graduate high school, do they go to college? Do they go into a trade school? Or maybe they enroll in the military or actually want to just go right into the workforce? So we really work with our kids to finish off that high school time.
That's a lot of stuff, Dana. When I was in high school, I didn't know what I'd be having for lunch day to day, and here you are already mapping out the kids' futures. So that's quite a bit. But there's a lot of support services, which is awesome. It's incredible what you do. But let's talk about today. So board president Cyndi Tercero, who happens to also work with the Phoenix Union High School District, got a special partnership going on. Cyndi, tell us what's going on here in the gym at Alhambra High School today.
Well, today this is our third event of a 2-day weekend event. It's our Spread Love, Not COVID student edition. So in Phoenix Union, we really tried to be proactive, and when vaccinations, making them accessible to staff, we did that last school year.
Okay.
And when they became available to youth, we wanted to make sure that we could make those accessible in their schools, in their community, and make sure that our students and families had access.
So you've got kind of a little maze going on here. We're sitting just outside of the gym about 6 feet from the restroom here. So once in a while you hear something in terms of, a faucet or something, that's what's going on. But we had to get a little bit out of the noise. But so inside, so they're doing vaccinations inside. They're giving out things, giving out backpacks. What else is going on in there?
So we kind of themed our events, right? We started in the summer, in June, and so we provided a lot of food and feminine hygiene products, making sure families had what they need.
Yeah.
And then in our 2 July events, we wanted to make sure that we were gearing students up to be ready for school, so backpacks full of school supplies. Again, some other feminine hygiene, some first aid kits, just making sure that families, if they had everything that they need. And for those who didn't have transportation, we also partnered with Lyft, and so they're providing transportation for anyone to get to any of our sites.
So I want to hear from the CEO here, Don Bogart. Don, you grew up out in the far West Valley. You're an Agua Fria owl. We won't say what year you graduated, but you grew up out there. So talk to us a little bit about how the youth get connected with Homeless Youth Connection.
Well, Vince, that's why our school partners are so important. And HYC actually partners with 120 high schools, not only here in Maricopa County, but the city of Flagstaff. And they're homeless school liaisons, counselors, guidance, support staff, social workers. They're the ones that identify the students, utilizing the Kinney-Bento criteria, which defines homelessness.
So tell us a little bit more about that. So the school will contact you? How does all that work?
So HYC has 9 youth coaches that serve all of those schools, and they're each assigned to the different high schools. So once the kids are identified, then that school liaison contacts HYC youth coach. And the uniqueness of the program is that our youth coaches actually go to the school, meet with the students on their campus, and provide all the services there. So we'll bring in the backpacks and school supplies and clothing. If the kids need to go to the doctor or go get their eyes checked, our youth coaches can not only take them there, but HYC pays for the prescriptions and the co-pays and all of the necessary things.
So I'm pretty low key. I'm a very shy person. That's a part of me you don't know, but I am. I'm very shy. I don't like people knowing my business. Okay, so I'm a 15, 16-year-old high school kid, and there's a stigma sometimes that get attached with needing services. How do I approach people without others finding out?
Really, really good point. And that's one of the reasons we don't say Homeless Youth Connection in the schools. We say HYC.
Okay.
So we try and remove that stigma right away.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we try and do early on is work with the entire school staff. Because we know that it's not just the teacher and the guidance counselor that identify the students. Sometimes it's going to be that cafeteria worker sees that the youth is taking a little bit of extra food, it might be the school bus driver. And so when that person can quietly go up and maybe talk to the youth about what's going on and say maybe, hey, what can we do for you? I know somebody that might be able to provide you some services. Since we're talking about sports, those football and baseball coaches are critical.
Yeah.
They're the ones that really identify the kids.
Well, the role of coaches now has changed so much. Many of them now are quote-unquote family counselors or counselors or referral specialists and on different services. So it's not just about, making little Johnny run sprints anymore. You've got off-the-field issues that you have to contend with kids that don't have food. And I mean, I've seen it. I've seen it in every school. It doesn't matter the socioeconomic standing of that school. You're always going to have kids that are going to struggle, and it's unfortunate, but it's also fortunate that there's organizations like yours out there that can jump in and help. What's the typical turnaround time of a kid that is identified as needing some assistance to where start to finish before services are provided?
Well, the unique thing is that kids come in all of the time. And I think it's really important to understand that homelessness is not an identity, it's an experience.
Okay.
So, and it also depends on what level of services that they need. 70% of the entire population, which is about 7,800 in 9th through 12th grade, they just need that little extra, backpack, school supplies, etc. So they may only need services for a couple of months. Then you have the unaccompanied youth that Dana mentioned that need housing. And we'll provide housing not only through graduation, but we also started working with students who are first-year college kids to ensure that they stay in school and complete their education.
So you touched on something very interesting. Let's talk about housing. So where do kids end up living?
The great thing about the flexibility of our program is it's called a host family program.
Okay.
We're serving 9,000 square miles, right? So you want to make sure that if a kid has a housing challenge, they want to stay in their same neighborhood, their community. So it's individuals that come forward to volunteer to keep those kids in a safe and stable environment next to their school.
Interesting. So they're not taken somewhere far away. They can stay in their community with host families that step forward and help out. How do you screen these families?
Absolutely. It's a really strong process in terms of the application, the training, the background checks. But interesting enough, Vince, a lot of the kids, probably half of the kids who participate in our host family program, they're actually already what we call couch surfing with other families. So, your parents just got divorced, Vince.
Yeah.
And, that new boyfriend doesn't really get along with the kiddos. So mom says, hey, Matt, will you go down the street and hang out with Pete for a little while?
Yeah.
That weekend turns into a week, turns into a month. And so Dana, Pete's mom, says, Matt, I think he can hang out with us through the end of the year. That's how a lot of the relations start.
The irony of what you just said is that my parents have been married 61 years yesterday, and they feel like killing each other every other day. But anyway, they're still at it. Okay, so interesting. So more information, hycaz.org, Homeless Youth Connection, or hycaz.org. Joined again by COO of Homeless Youth Connection, Dana Bailey. Cyndi Tercero, the new board president, who is also the family engagement coordinator, right? Did I get that right? Awesome. With the Phoenix Union High School District. She's helping to coordinate the activities here today at Alhambra High School. And then, of course, the CEO, Don Bogart. Let's set up our next segment. So when we come back, I would like to talk a little about how people can get involved with HYC. Not necessarily the recipients, because we've already identified a little bit of the process there, but how host families, how other volunteers. You're a nonprofit, I'm assuming, 501c3, so you rely on donations. We got to talk about that. Folks, get your wallets ready, because we need help, and these folks need help in order to continue to serve the kids in our community. Everything stays in our community, right? Okay, all right. So when we come back from the break, we will be joined by our Summer Spotlight Series guest co-host for today, Dana Bailey, COO of HYC, Homeless Youth Connection, Don Bogart, CEO of Homeless Youth Connection, and Cyndi Tercero, Family Engagement Coordinator, Phoenix Union High School District, and new board president of Homeless Youth Connection. We'll be back after the break here on the Varsity Sports Shows. Folks, stick around. It's going to be a fun morning. We got some other stuff planned as well. We'll be back. Go Varsity.
The Varsity Sports Show presents the Summer Spotlight Series, featuring outstanding members of our community. And now, here's Vince.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show here on AM 1060 KDUS. Vince DeLisio here, joined by, now, I'm a Camelback High School alum. You didn't know that, but I'm telling you, there you go. Class of 89, you are a former principal of Camelback High School, but you are also the superintendent of the Phoenix Union High School District. Folks, we are joined by royalty today. We have Dr. Chad Gestson here. Dr. G, how are you?
I am great. It's great to be here with you. Always nice to be in the presence of another Spartan. Once a Spartan, always a Spartan.
There you go. That's nice. So Dr. G, talk to us a little bit about what's going on today.
Well, we're here at Alhambra High School. Phoenix Union has taken the lead. We've become a state and national leader in vaccine access. We know that one way in which we can stop the spread of COVID is vaccines, and so we played a really big role in making sure that we bring vaccines right into our neighborhoods.
Okay, and so obviously you're utilizing the facility and this partnership with Homeless Youth Connection. It's been a great partnership. How many families are you expecting to serve out here today?
Well, we, over this summer, have given out around 10,000 vaccines to our families. We've done tens of thousands of vaccines since January. We launched our first set of vaccine events late in January. And yeah, you mentioned Homeless Youth Connection. We can't do this work alone. This is a big partnership between county and other agencies. We're an educational institution. We have the facilities, we have access, but we cannot do this work alone.
So Phoenix Union being the largest high school district in the state of Arizona, and certainly one of the oldest, if not the oldest, you're kind of setting a standard that others are following. Talk to us about sports overall. And you got some beautiful new facilities at each of your district high schools this year. What's the outlook?
Yeah, we are very excited, and we'll do all we can to bring back a very normal full sports season, fall, winter, and spring. It's part of the reason why we are committed to vaccines, committed to masking, committed to all that we need to do to keep students back on campus. And yes, you mentioned our fields. Our fields are beautiful.
Brand new, yeah.
Yeah, our taxpayers have been excellent with our bonds. We have brand new turf fields on every single one of our football, soccer fields. Very excited to bring back fall sports in full. In fact, we're doing sports physicals right now, and kids are out on practice right now.
Awesome. When are they going to be erecting that Vince DeLisio statue at Camelback High? Is that coming in?
I think the committee's forming right now. Good for you.
Man. Oh, gosh, that's great. So, Dr. G, one more question for you. So you've been around, obviously you've been around for a number of years now. How have you seen the district change over that time? Looking back, looking forward, what are some highlights?
Yeah, we're very, very proud of who Phoenix Union is today. We, over the last few years, have launched several new schools. We used to be a school system just about 5-6 years ago of only 15 schools. We have 22 now.
Wow.
We've even approved 2 more concepts that'll put us at 24. We're still growing in enrollment. Phoenix Union is stronger today than we've ever been.
I don't know if you get this question a lot, but I like to bring the human element into this thing. Are you happy?
I am happy. I love this place. I will tell you this. It is not easy to be a superintendent today.
Okay.
But I love this district. I love this community, and I love the people that I work with.
Awesome. Dr. G, thanks so much for joining us. Dr. Chad Gestson from the Phoenix Union High School District, the school superintendent, and a big sports fan.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
I grew up a club sports player and will always be a sports fan.
Okay. Dr. G, thanks again for joining us. So I wanted to transition back to Cyndi Tercero and talk to us, Cyndi, about really quickly. Thanks again, Dr. G. And he mentioned it's not easy being a school superintendent. It's not easy being a radio host, Anyway.
It's a full day.
It is a full day. So, Cyndi, tell us a little bit about the moratorium that ends today.
Yeah, so today the eviction moratorium ends, and that's really concerning for us because families who've been able to stay in their home, they know they've already had the eviction notice, they will be kicked out.
Wow.
And with the affordable housing crisis also being a major issue, we don't know where they'll go. We've been trying to work with them to be preventative, but many of those families can't find affordable housing. And so our work with and our partnership with HYC helps us ensure, like the kiddos, we have shelter placement. We're trying to get them placed elsewhere. Luckily with McKinney-Vento, one of the things we're able to tell the families is, don't worry about where, like some of them want to stay right by their school.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's not always, they're not always able to do that. So just finding the affordable housing, McKinney-Vento allows us to make sure that we transport the students so that they can stay in school. Our goal is that they stay in school. Our goal is that they find shelter. And our goal is that we eliminate those barriers.
Dana, let's talk about the volunteers with this organization. How many volunteers? Who is this young lady right here? And we can hear you here even without a headset, but go ahead.
So this is Haley Harper. She's our resource outreach manager at HYC. And
Okay.
She is the master at volunteers and knows all the ins and outs of the opportunities we have at HYC. So I'd love to have her share some of her resources and ways for people to be able to get involved volunteering.
Okay, Haley, you got the floor. Tell us about the volunteers here.
Awesome. Good morning. We have so many volunteer opportunities, especially as we're starting up the new school year.
Uh-huh.
We have volunteer opportunities during the week and also on the weekends if you want to get involved with your family or with a club or a church group. Lots of opportunities, serving donations, working with our administrative support, serving as a political advocate.
Wow.
We have lots of opportunities and are excited to get anyone engaged. We really appreciate their time and their skills and their energy.
What is, describe the typical volunteer, age, gender, what makes them go? What interests them?
And that's actually really exciting about volunteering at HYC is because we have people from every walk of life, so many different ages. We have families come in with young children. We have high schoolers, college students, retirees. We have opportunities to engage everyone at every level. And the thing that unifies all of them is they care about making a difference.
Wow.
And they really care about impacting the lives of youth experiencing homelessness.
Okay. And so, again, give us a roundabout number, approximate number that you have right now.
We have about 75 volunteers who come and help us out.
Okay.
And we can always use more. And
Okay.
we really appreciate all of the time that they donate to us.
Okay, CEO Don Bogart, tell us about some of the sponsors, some of the donors. You're a 501c3, so you rely on private donations. How can someone give?
Absolutely. Well, one of the great things about HYC is we have a very diverse funding base. So that helps with our overall sustainability. And we get support from corporations, foundations, churches, service organizations, the government. But one of the great things is we are a Arizona charitable tax credit organization. So individuals can donate through that program.
Who are some of the bigger donors? Anybody that you want to give a special shout out to that's done some work that's given to you guys?
Well, since we're a sports organization or a sports show today, I'll talk about the Phoenix Suns, Arizona Cardinals, Arizona Diamondbacks.
Wow.
Also, the Parsons Foundation, Virginia Piper, Nina Mesa Pulliam, Bank of America.
Wow.
Thunderbirds are huge donors, been with us a long time. So we're very, very fortunate to have great support from the community.
And how many years has the organization been around?
10 years.
10 years, so you're very new.
Absolutely.
But you've made quite an impact, and you continue to make an impact. If you were to put a number on the number of individuals that you've served through the years, what would you put it at?
It's probably a little more than 3,500 homeless youth right now.
Okay, right now. And then over the course of the past 10 years, how much of an impact have you made in terms of number of lives, you think, if you were to put an estimate?
That's over the 10 years.
Okay, I got you.
On an average yearly basis, we serve about 600.
Okay. And it's not just providing a meal. I mean, you're providing housing. You're helping, find services, like you said, medical services, things that you're helping to do. And I can also imagine you've got medical providers that are involved that are providing services as well. I mean, quite a few, I'd imagine, right?
You bet. Community partnerships is really important to HYC's success. And some of our community partners include Adelante Healthcare, Brighter Ways Dental, West Valley Vision. We work very closely with DES to ensure that all of the youth get access and insurance.
Yeah.
And then also we partner with Another great sports group is Dick's Sporting Goods.
Oh.
They provide a lot of donations on
Sure.
an annual basis. Walmart is a wonderful partner. And we have a new employment partnership with Trinity Opportunity Alliance and St. Joseph the Worker. About 60% of our graduates right now are going straight into the workforce. And it's really important that we set them up with success for interviewing skills, resume writing, and identifying those jobs that can have sustainable wages, benefits, and growth.
I've got to ask how you fall into this type of position. I mean, is it something that you sought? Did they seek you out? I mean, how did you get involved?
I started doing fundraising when I was 8.
Really?
Backyard carnival.
Wow.
So
selling lemonade, huh? And a lemonade stand, people driving by?
Wow. But okay. we were fortunate. HYC, our founder, Larry Serbarich, was with a local Rotary. And there was a newspaper article that talked about kids that were experiencing homelessness needing backpacks and school supplies.
Okay.
And so it was a really grassroots effort of the churches in the area and the Rotary coming together and doing small, like you say, lemonade, backyard barbecues, car washes. And that first year they did backpacks and school supplies and partnered with, our free school district.
Oh, gosh. You had to get that in there.
Did.
Okay. All right. Okay. And so, Cyndi, being with the Phoenix Union High School District and now being board president, how did you get pulled into this? And it's a great organization, but I'm always curious to know, what drives people. And I've done a lot of volunteer work in my life as well, but, how do people sacrifice time, especially for free?
Well, my role in Phoenix Union, I'm the McKinney-Vento POC, so I've always been connected to that work. It's been my passion. I moved a lot when we were young. We relied on government assistance. But I lived in Peoria, heard about the organization through my husband, actually, knew that they needed to be in Phoenix Union.
Yeah.
When I met Don and we talked and understood just what I did and my passion, and Phoenix Union educates the highest number of McKinney-Vento students.
Okay.
Like I've always said, it takes a village. We can't do it all. We rely on organizations who have the right mission, really have the heart in it, right?
Yeah.
And so being able to partner with HYC and bring them in, work hand in hand with our staff, it helps us be able to focus and provide more support because we have an organization who's working with our students. So the HYC youth coaches, like Don mentioned earlier, they're on our campuses. They're working in collaboration with our community liaisons.
Wow.
It allows us to do more, and it allows us to be able to support the students the way that we need to.
Dana, your last year, and I've got to ask you, and Dana being the COO of HYC, how did you get involved?
Oh gosh, Don and I have known each other for 30 years, and our
Really?
paths keep crossing over different.
And you're still friends.
And we're really good friends.
Okay.
I just started. I've always grown up kind of with a heart to help people, and for HYC specifically, is I had teenage boys.
Yeah.
And they had hopes and dreams and, first crushes and all those things, not any different than the youth that we serve.
Yeah.
And it was very relatable. They just needed the youth that we serve, needed someone to believe in them and support them. And so that was my motivation. And when these kids graduate high school and they share the pictures, and sometimes those are the only pictures that they have because of the circumstance of how they grew up. We just don't have a lot of those type of memories. And when we can make an impact and they come back, when Dr. G was talking about the sports fields, we had some kids, we've had kids in our program, their motivation was football. They knew if they did well in school and continued to go to class, that they could graduate. And football was their motivation, or football helped them deal with stress.
Sure.
So they're not any different than the kids that grow up with us. So it could make a difference.
Okay, when we come back from the break, and thank you, Dana, we are going to be joined by a couple of special guests, the Beachin with Beale Southern California Surfing Report, my old friend Mike Beale, and the lead guitarist of Van Halen. Come back after the break here on the Varsity Sports Show. And now it's time for Beachin with Beale. Random thoughts from a real Orange County, California surfer guy, Mike Beale. The opinions expressed during the segment in no way represent those of KDUS AM 1060 Arizona, the Varsity Sports Show, its host, or its listeners. Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show here on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. Vince DeLisio. When you hear that intro, That is none other than the Beachin with Beale report with my old high school teammate, Mike Beale, live from Orange County, California. Mike, good morning, sir.
Vince, how are you? I was just listening to that interview you were doing with Dana, and when the topic is not sports, you're actually pretty good. You ask some good questions. You just don't know anything about sports, so it's kind of awkward.
I tell these guys, they say, why do you have a Southern California surfing report on? I tell them it starts off that way, but then it turns really ugly because then you spend the entire segment insulting me.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of chatter on the internet from our fans saying that my surf reports are inadequate. So I wanted to kind of really nail it this morning.
Okay, so why don't you tell us what is going on out there before we bring on our special guest?
Well, I hate to rub it into all our listeners in Phoenix, but this morning at the beach it was foggy, cold, windy. I actually wished I had a jacket on. And then as far as the waves go, I would rate them as between small and smaller. And I can say from all the way from Hawaii to San Diego, kind of a little wave drought. So there you have it. There you have it.
Wow, a legitimate, that has to be the first legitimate surf report we've ever had from you. Are you sick? Are you okay?
I wanted to give it my all because our number one fan of Phoenix, Rob Max, was making some disparaging comments about my report.
Yeah,
so I'm kind of want to stick it to him a little bit.
All right, so let's introduce our special guest. So as you know, Mike, I'm a big and I know you are too. We're big Van Halen fans, and
I love Van Halen.
I was cruising down the 101 last week, heading toward Tempe, and I saw this marquee at Casino, Arizona that said "World's Greatest Tribute Band, Van Halen, coming in 2 weeks," and it blew my mind. I got a hold of Casino, Arizona. I called the promoter that works in Vegas. They put me in touch with the lead guitarist of Van Halen, Mr. Derek Fuller, who goes by Derek Van Halen. Derek, good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning, you guys. Pleasure to be on the call with you.
And you are coming to us live also from Orange County, California, so you and Mike could probably be neighbors.
In fact, I'm here in Huntington Beach, where it is definitely, foggy and a little bit chilly. But the band Van Halen is playing on the beach later today. So right there in Huntington Beach, a place called Sea Lake. So we're excited to be out there.
Wow. Mike, are you familiar with that place?
No, I'm not, but I might make myself familiar with it this afternoon.
Yeah, be careful, Derek, because this guy will make a fool of himself and everyone else that's within earshot of him. So I don't know if But let's talk about the band. So how long have you guys been around, and why Van Halen?
Yeah, the band has been around for, believe it or not, this is my 18th year performing in a Van Halen tribute band. So it's been around a long time. There was no other choice. Why Van Halen? I mean, I grew up as a guitar player just like, so many people did in the 80s. And soon as, or I should say even the 70s, when Van Halen hit the scene, it was all like, jaws drop. Who the heck is that? What is that? And we all gravitated towards that, just like, so many millions of guitar players around the world. They changed, Eddie changed the instrument, and the rest is history.
I mean, my gosh, you guys are out there, you're touring, you've got a big following, obviously, because of the music, and your front man looks and sounds just like David Lee Roth. I'm talking David Lee Roth from the 70s and 80s, not David Lee Roth now. But, I mean, this guy is spot on.
It's pretty uncanny how well he imitates that voice and that scream and that vocal delivery. I honestly, sometimes I laugh at myself when I hear him singing or hear him talking to the audience because it's just so darn close to the original. You're like, are you kidding me? And he comes up with some pretty witty stuff, as Dave would.
Now, you guys have a bass player that is like Michael Anthony. You got the drummer that's like Alex. So, how hard was it to get a band together and to have guys play these roles?
Believe it or not, it is really hard. Trying to find, especially the bass player, which you wouldn't think, that you have to find a singer first, and then who happens to maybe play bass as well, because Michael was so, his vocal was such a big part of that sound. And his ability to sing at those high levels, the high harmony piece, that's a really tough tough job to find, and I was very fortunate to find someone who can pull that off and resembles what Michael looked like.
Yeah. So Mike Beale, you have a favorite Van Halen?
Yeah. I was just thinking, remember when you and we went to see Van Halen back in 2005, I think, at Staples Center, and then afterwards we ran into Michael Anthony downtown eating sushi. We were all excited. There were like 5, 6 of us, and so eventually Vince builds up the nerve to go ask Michael Anthony for an autograph, and he of course refused, and Vince ended up in tears. That's my
the guy was trying to eat with his family, so but yeah, worked up the nerve. So all right, so
I think, by the way, Michael's probably the nicest guy in rock and roll. Michael, I've met him a couple of times as well, and he's just the most gracious, nicest guy. But I can understand if he's eating, I can understand him wanting to concentrate on his.
After a show, and you got this rabid fan that's jonesing for an autograph. So anyway, yeah. Favorite song. So what is like a crowd favorite that you guys play?
I mean, the Jump, of course, is a big one. Hot for Teacher is going to be huge. Panama, those are all off 1984. Ain't Talking About Love. Dance the Night Away. I mean, they have such a great catalog, and people, just love that music. And, Beautiful Girls, all that stuff. I mean, people go crazy for.
So what can we expect? Give us a sample of some of your set list when you're here in 2 weeks. By the way, I'm taking my wife to the show. I think Mike is coming into town, my buddy Mike. Is there any chance we can get some pictures with you guys after the show?
Absolutely. We make a point to go out and meet everybody after the show. We go right outside the showroom and spend time, taking pictures, getting, introducing people, or getting to know people, I should say. So absolutely, you'll have that opportunity. As far as the set list, it's going to be, it's going to be nothing but the hits. It's a 90-minute set, and it's going to be from start to finish, 100% Van Halen hits, songs that you grew up to, the soundtrack of your youth. We'll be playing all those.
Nice. And can you and I act like best friends in front of my friend Mike and maybe, treat me a little bit better than him?
Yeah, we'll give you the VIP treatment. No problem.
Awesome. Can't wait.
I don't
Go ahead,
think
Mike.
so.
Yeah, it's going to be great. The show, it typically sells out. I mean, every time we play there, it sells out. And I know Saturday is really close to being sold out. Friday still has some good seats available. But we're really looking forward to coming back out to Arizona. We have great following out there, people who are passionate about, Van Halen, and it's so awesome to go out there. And it's been too long, right? It's been since the pandemic. And so this is kind of our first trip back out to Arizona, and we're really looking forward to seeing everybody.
Can't wait. Thank you so much. So Derek Fuller, a.k.a. Derek Van Halen, from the world's greatest tribute band, Van Halen, coming in concert to Casino, Arizona, Friday, August 13th, Saturday, August 14th. Contact the box office for tickets. I'll be there. We'll be there. My buddy Mike Beale will be there. We'll be there on Saturday night, the 14th. And looking forward to it. Folks, looking forward to seeing everyone out there. Head out there. Derek, thanks again for joining us here on the Varsity Sports Show.
My pleasure, guys. Thanks so much for having me.
All right. Wow. Mike, you kept it pretty calm. You gave us a good surfing report. You asked a couple of good questions, made some comments. Is this a new Mike we're seeing?
Yeah, I'm hoping when we go national that I can ride the wave with you.
Okay. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for joining us on another exciting Varsity Sports Show live from Alhambra High School today with our Summer Spotlight Series featuring the Homeless Youth Connection, joined by our friends, today's co-host, COO of HYC, Dana Bailey. Dana, thanks again for joining us.
Thank you. This is a great Saturday morning.
Tell us a little bit again about how people can donate their time and money.
They can get involved. They can go to our website. And there's a lot of opportunities there at our website. Mm-hmm. So they can get involved. They can host a drive. They can make a donation. They could be a monthly donor. They could take advantage of the Arizona tax credit. There's just a lot of ways to get involved, and I'd really encourage them to reach out on our website, and they can talk to Haley, and she can give them some more details and more information about ways to get involved. And we'd love to have the support, and we'd love to have people learn more about our We also have lunch and learns.
Okay.
So people can contact us, and then we can set up a lunch and learn and kind of share a little bit more about opportunities to get involved in what we do. It's a great kind of toe in the water to learn more about the organization.
Okay. So hycaz.org. Once again, Homeless Youth Connection, hycaz.org. CEO Don Bogart, thanks again for joining us. Haley, volunteer coordinator, thanks again for joining us. Cyndi Tercero with the Phoenix Union High School District and new board president. And this last segment, of course, sponsored by 24th Street Dental Biltmore, the Invisalign experts, my old friend Mike Beale, the Beachin with Beale report, Derek Van Halen from World's Greatest Tribute Band, Van Halen joining us. In the first segment, the Thursday night football face-off, Campo Verde High School head football coach Ryan Freeman, thanks for joining us. Cactus Shadows head football coach Mike Hudnutt, I drew a blank for a second there, thanks for joining us. And Phoenix Union High School District Superintendent Dr. G. Chad Gestson, thanks again for joining us. And folks, thank you for starting your Saturday off with us here on the Varsity Sports Show. To our loyal listeners and to our partners that make this all happen, thanks again for everything. Folks, what a day. Join us next week. We'll be back, same time, different place, continuing our Summer Spotlight series here on the Varsity Sports Show. Ed and Javon up next. Happy anniversary, Mom and Dad, and thank you again for joining us. We'll be back. Go Varsity.
Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show. Our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating a platform to promote young people in extracurricular activities and community outreach. If you are interested in partnering up with the Varsity Sports Show, find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or call or text us at 480-779-9437. The Varsity Sports Show, Arizona's home for youth, high school, college, and you.